Yeah, that's where a lot of people get confused, and I've I've heard both sides of that explanation where
When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
let's switch gears to
Cool.
talking about um guns and stuff, because I know you make your own ammo, and I really want you to educate the listeners on what are the tools that they're going to need for them to buy right now to create their own ammo, especially if the Biden administration becomes, a dictator on gun control and everything.
Cool. Switching gears from gardening to guns. uh, it's fun. Yeah, I didn't know if we would get to that. Well, I wanted to start out by talking about archery, because one great thing about archery is that, the ammo is reusable. And it's, you're not going to fight off the Chinese invasion with a bow and arrow or anything, but it's just a good, it's a fun hobby, and it's really good for kids to do. And there's so much about archery that I just really love it. And so I just want to talk about archery real quick first.
Well, you know what? Let's not rush it. If I have to, I will do this into a two-part video. That way, people know.
Oh, good.
It's so even if it goes beyond an hour and 20 minutes or whatever, that way it'll be easier just to split it in half. So, for the people who are listening to this podcast, we're gonna go ahead and make this the timestamp. If you are listening to this and it's been over an hour, because we haven't edited the video or anything like that yet, so I don't know exactly how long it's gonna be. But right now we're gonna shift our focus from talking about the farming that we have done for the past hour to talking about the weapons and what is Jefferson's thoughts on archery and how to create bullets and everything like that. So if we have to split it from here, we will, and you'll understand why. So if this is the first podcast you listen to, we'll see you in the next one. All right, go ahead, Jefferson.
Thanks. Yeah. So I was having these homeschool kids come over to the farm, and I built a archery target out of straw bales. I bought about a dozen straw bales and built a big target, like a wall, and I would put targets on there for them. I put some T-posts on the back, and I tie it around so that it would stand up,
Yeah.
But the bow. This is one of the bows for kids.
Mm-hmm. My son has
And,
that exact bow.
Who does?
My son.
Who has? Oh, your son.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, have you heard about these finger savers?
No, go
Right
ahead
here.
and explain it. Yeah.
Called finger saver. So where I got this bow was 3riversarchery.com. 3 Rivers. It's like the number 3 rivers, and they have these finger savers. So that's kind of helpful to get. But anyway, and they also have arrows. You can get kids' arrows for the bows, and it's just a lot of fun, for kids to practice shooting. And it's hand-eye coordination. It's very good exercise. And so after your son is outgrowing that weapon, there's the next style is it's like a summer camp style bow. This one is called the Titan, and it's 30 pounds. So I like the I had a compound bow, and I took a class. I bought this bow, and with a compound bow, form is really important, and you are holding yourself straight up, and then you're looking through the sight, and there's the different pins for the yardage, and it's a lot like a rifle, shooting a compound bow. And I even had a trigger, it's like a trigger that you pull instead of letting go. There's a trigger. I don't know if you've seen that, Jose. Have you seen those triggers?
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
Yeah. And one day I must have twisted or something, but my string came off the cam, you know, those wheels.
Yeah.
And bow kind of exploded. And I couldn't get the string back on the wheel. And I had to take it to a bow shop where they had a press, like a hydraulic press. And that's how they restring those bows. So I was like, this isn't going to do in the zombie apocalypse if my string gets off the wheel.
Yeah.
It will be joking. So I started researching the recurve bows, and I found something called instinctive archery. And it's really cool because you want to have like an anchor point, and I use my middle finger to my corner of my cheek. But basically you aim with your mind, sort of like throwing a football or a basketball or baseball.
Oh, okay.
You don't look down the arrow or anything. You just look at where you want to hit, and then you anchor, and then you release. And after doing that like 1,000 or more times, then you start hitting to where you're looking. You know, it's called instinctive archery. It's not really aiming. And the ranges on the recurve bow is a lot shorter than the compound. You know, you can make like 50-yard shots with a compound bow. But with the recurve, you know, if you were hunting deer, you would want to get close up, like 10 yards to it, you know. So this is my recurve. And this is called a Samick Sage. And it's like a 50-pound bow. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it's just so fun, basically. And I have gone bow hunting for deer with mine, but I've taken 2 shots.
So which one is the better one
missed.
for deer hunting?
Oh, that last one. That's a 50-pound pull, you know. And I think it's about 45 minimum. I don't know what the laws are wherever you live, but yeah, there's so much about archery. There's this thing called stump shooting where you're basically walking through the woods and you find like a soft stump or some other target, and then you aim and shoot at it. And it's really fun. You lose a lot of arrows, but and you break your arrows and stuff. But it's just fun to wander around the woods shooting at stuff with a bow and arrow. You know, you can't do that with a gun. Like, I mean, I guess you could. You'll be walking around and be like, I want to shoot that stump. But imagine, like, shooting it with an arrow through, you know, some limbs of a tree. You know, you have to aim between these limbs. You know, you're like, I don't know. Yeah. But with a compound bow, if you shoot, they're so powerful, you know, that it'd be really hard to get your arrow out of the stump. But anyway, so I just want to talk about archery just a tiny bit, and I really like the recurve bows.
All right.
So but then so then you need a sidearm. If you have a bow and arrow, you need a sidearm. And for some reason, I like really small caliber stuff. I mean, a lot of people might think that my advice is pointless because, you know, they need an AR-15 or AK-47. So I have this 22 pistol. These are made in Florida. They're called a Rough Rider. And I just like old school stuff. This is a Rough Rider. It's a single action pistol. And you can get these for like $30. This one is kind of a nice one. It has a nice fancy grip and also these target sights.
Mm-hmm.
But recently I saw a Rough Rider for $130. So they're cheap, which is good. And you have to, this is called a single action. And so you have to put it on half cock and then load each cylinder one by one. Mm-hmm. And then you have to pull back each time, you know. So it's the old cowboy style. And I really like this. This could shoot 22 Magnum, which is this longer one, or the tiny 22 Shorts, or the 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
And say if you have pigs or even a cow or something, you could put them down with this. I have put pigs down with not this one, but with a 22 long rifle. You still have to cut their throat, stick them. But anyway, if you have a dog that got hit by a car and you
Want to stop
need
it
to
from
put it
suffering?
down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or anyway, also for self-defense, I mean, I'm crazy, so I don't care. I would totally go up against someone with a 9mm, and I would have this because I'm so accurate with this. There's no recoil, and I could shoot them in between the eyes. But I know that you have time to aim in a self-defense situation. But anyway, so I really like. So I was thinking that this. Let's see. My first Rough Rider is this one. I have it in a shoulder holster, and it also has a 22 mag, or I have another cylinder as 22 long rifle, and I like this one so much. It's really quite accurate, but it's a little bit shorter barrel than this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this one. It would be the ultimate survival tool, and so I was carrying this around my farm, and I kind of think it looks cool with a 22 Magnum bullets on my belt. And then I learned that you can reload 22, and I was like, whoa, this is the ultimate survival gun because I can reload 22. And so I bought this kit from 22 Reloader, and basically this is how you use this to mold your own 22 bullets. And so I made my own 22 bullets. Here's an example of them. And then they sell these chemicals. It's called Primal. And you mix all these chemicals together, and then you pack it. This is a 22 mag case. And then you clean the case, and then you pack the Primal in there. But I was never able to get a consistent, like dependable firing of the 22. Trying to reload 22, it just takes a really long time, and it's really finicky, and it wasn't working even half the time for me. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but this, I don't know. Maybe somebody else would have better luck. But I consider this pistol that was a failure. And I just consider it to shoot factory ammunition. I can't make my own ammunition
On the 22.
dependably. I mean, I might try. Yeah, for 22. I mean, it's rare, But I thought I had struck the ultimate survival pistol with this. It's pretty accurate. I can hunt rabbits or something.
Right, and I'm assuming it's not very loud either.
Yeah, and you can carry, you could carry a brick of ammo, 500 rounds in a bug out bag or something, and I don't know. That would be pretty rough living to be living that way, but
so
maybe you
so
could.
what about the other calibers? Do you reload any other caliber of ammo?
So then I started. I got this. This is from the Depression era. It's a 410 shotgun, and I was like, "This is the ultimate." Just a single shot, bolt action 410. It's from the 1930s, and I was like, "The 410 is the ultimate because I have slugs, and people do, especially a lot of times if you take a kid hunting deer." They'll use a 410 because there's no recoil, and it's a shotgun, and so you can hunt. And so I was thinking like, oh, that's the ultimate because I can do slugs, or I can kill deer, or like pheasants with this. And so I did learn how to reload 410. I kind of think that one of the benefits of the 410 was that it's really light on usage of powder and shot, and so it's really economical to use. So anyway, I have this kit. I can reload the 410, and I'll try to do that real quick. You might have to edit out something, but this is my powder. Basically, this powder it's called H110. I was just doing some research, and I found that was a good powder. So you need some sort of powder, and you need primers. And so primers are kind of hard to find these days, but you can go online and still find them. They're getting kind of expensive. And I bought this kit for reloading a 410. I forget where it's from, but I was trying to find a name. Anyway, you can just look for a 410. Oh, it's a Lee 410 kit. Lee loaders. So basically, to reload, say if I want to reload this shell, then I would. It has the old primer in there, and a lot of people who do reloading have a lot of fancy equipment, like presses and stuff.
Yeah.
But these are just little hand tools that you could put in your bug out bag. And so the first thing you want to do is to replace the primer. And so this tool will knock out the old primer. So now there's nothing in there. So there's the old primer. It's basically garbage. So you get a new one, and you see it in there. And then one of these tools. So this tool has like a cup. So you put that in there, and then you hit it. So now there's a new primer. So that was easy. And now I need powder. And I've already done some research. This, let me show you that real quick before I pour the powder in. Whatever caliber you're loading, and you can get these hand tools for like 9mm even, but you want like a book that talks about. I got this one for the 410. You want to do a little research to figure out what powder, and then I had these These are called dippers, and it comes with this little thing that shows you like the name of your powder is on here, and it shows you like which dipper you use, how much it weighs. Anyway, you just have to do a little research about what you're doing, but it's possible. So now that I've got the new primer in, I know that this scoop is the one I need for this powder.
All right.
So then I got this little funnel. I just put, don't spill powder. So I put the powder in there. And then for shotgun shells, I bought this bag of wads, they're called. And they just look like this. But I could, in a pinch, I could just stick some, like a piece of t-shirt or something in there. So now I have primer, powder, and a wad. And then now I need my projectile. And so I have a bag of shot somewhere. Oh, here it is. So this is a bag of shot. And it's basically just shotgun pellets.
Yeah.
And so I basically just fill, you can measure how much you do, but I just basically fill it. So I am filling up. Sorry, I need to pour it up. So this is my thing where I melt lead. I'll just pour some in here so I can see it. Dang it. So basically, you just fill up your case with shot, and then you're done. So I'm basically done. except you have to crimp it. Now you need to crimp it shut. So it's kind of slow compared to, a press. But once you get into the rhythm, then you could do as many, you could do them pretty fast, So, and I don't do it all the time. So now I have kind of a crimp, and it gets a little tricky here. So I put a little lubricant on there, so hopefully I can get it out. But then you basically, it feels weird hammering on. You might explode something. But anyway.
Blow your fingers off.
Anyway, yeah, don't blow your fingers off. Let me see. I'm gonna try to. Can you see me? I'm over here trying to extract this. Anyway, so sorry, you might have to edit this out. There we go. It's sort of hard to get that part out, but basically, I have a new. See the crimp I just put on there.
Yeah.
So basically, I have a look 410 shell, and I got a mold to try to make a slug for hunting deer. And so here's a slug I was able to mold for 410, and but I haven't been able to get this very accurate. So instead of loading the shot, I would load the
slug.
The slug.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get a 12 gauge kit. That's basically the same type of tools for 12 gauge.
Where do you find
and also
tools?
Like on eBay, you can look on eBay for Lee loading tools. Okay, so that was my 410. All right. So I have a deer rifle. I'll just tell you about that.
All right.
The 30-06. And this is basically my go-to if the Chinese invade. So you were talking about your alliance should all have the same type of weapons. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, the same caliber.
So same caliber. Do you have AR-15s?
Yes.
Maybe it's none of my business.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so the reason that I say that everybody has to have the same weapon and the same caliber is because the magazines can be shared between those guns, and that way you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something like you're doing where you're making your own bullets, you won't have 1,000 different guns to make bullets for. You everybody would use the same bullets, and then it would be much more efficient.
Yeah, this is basically just a deer rifle, but this I don't have an assault rifle. So if I join your group, I need to get on board with you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
But I don't know. So I have a mold. I don't know where the mold is, but I was able to make these bullets for 30-06, and basically I just use this. I fill it with that shotgun shot, and I just melt it, and then I'm able to pour it into my mold. So I could do it. I could do this on a campfire. And here's one I did a couple days ago when I was practicing for this. But here's an empty 30-06 case, and I've already knocked out the primer. So I have the tools to reload 30-06, and you can get these tools. I think it was about $50, but just these basic handles, I can reload 30-06. And the more you do it, the faster you are. But basically, and you need primers. So, and luckily I got 1,000 primers. Ooh, just lost one. 990. So basically, you just put a new primer on there, and then first off, so I would be reading the directions, usually, going through it and being really careful. So that resizes the neck.
Okay.
And then I'm supposed to put the primer on next. So this is how so now I put the primer on there. I'm going to see if I can get it. So now I have it primed, and then now I need powder. So this, even though this is a 30-06, I've learned to use this trail boss powder, and I can make a very like a low recoil. It sounds like a 22, and it's basically just like I can hunt small game with it, maybe a deer. But if I were to use another powder, then anyway, I'm making a light load. That's what I'm making with this. It's a huge rabbit hole, reloading.
Yeah.
So, and this is just going to be, like I said, like a really light load. What's neat about a 30-06 is that you can load them down, it's called. So then I have my bullet. I'll start there, and then
and that's the bullet you molded.
Then I do this, and there I have a reloaded 30-06 round. I mean,
with the bullet that you
that's how easy it is.
Made yourself, right?
Yeah, I made that bullet myself by melting this. I just put this on my barbecue grill on the side burner, and it melts. And then I have a mold. I have so much junk over here. Here, I have this. I need to put my little tools away.
All right.
So you can see kind of how easy it would be if you have these tools to make, to reload your own ammo. You don't need like a lot of, all I needed was this basically, and primers and powder. So I have 1,000 primers here. But what I was saying that these home cast bullets, if they're good for like, I think 1,100 feet per second and down. But if I were to use them at a higher speed, then the lead might damage my barrel. It would like lead. It's called leading your barrel. So you want to either powder coat them, or you can use like a commercial bullet, something like this. If you're going at high speeds, because this is like copper plated, and it won't, foul the. Yeah, it won't mess up my barrel. But since I'm just using this, this is like a cowboy action type. It's just a low speed powder.
Okay.
Anyway, but so.
So do you think it's a lot cheaper to do it at home or buy it commercially?
I think at home it's a lot cheaper, but you have to buy all the components, so it might be more expensive initially.
The initial.
But just
the initial investment is always more expensive, but over time it will probably save you money.
Yeah, and I don't really shoot that much. I don't shoot the 30-06 very much. I don't really have the range here, because there's houses around. But that's why I make these low power ones. I can't shoot this at like 50 yards, and just target practice with these. But and they're not very loud compared to like a full power commercial 30-06. But anyway, so I wanted to show you these pistols that I've been getting into.
All right.
And they're called they're a black powder pistol. And this one is loaded. I have my unloaded one somewhere. So many props, Jose. But on this pistol, where is it? Oh, here it is. This one's unloaded. So I can still carry this pistol. It's crazy. But this is called the 1851 Navy. And I wear it over here. Like when I went to town today, I was carrying this pistol. But I just want to show you. They're awesome. I don't know if you ever heard of Wild Bill Hickok, but he was like an Old West guy, and he liked these 1851 Navies. But if you carry them butt forward, because if I slide it over here, so this is the way you would traditionally see someone carrying a pistol. But if you're trying to draw it out, you have to really lift up high to get this long barrel out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you carry it butt forward, there's something called cavalry draw, which is just really super easy. You kind of twist it around.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so this one is unloaded. So you put these on half cock, and you have a little kit here to load. Oh, so sorry about that. So these are the bullet molds, and all the other molds look very similar for the 30-06 and the 410 slug. But basically, this is for balls. These pistols will shoot a ball or a conical. And so I basically heat the lead up and then pour it into here, and then I hammer here. And then this was a session I did where I made these conical bullets and these round balls. And I really like these black powder pistols because I've made my own black powder. Here's an example. But anyway, sorry. Maybe you don't want to post this video because no one would want to do this.
I will post it. And don't worry, man. Everything is very educational. I like it.
Okay. So I like this because, there's an ammo shortage. But basically, you make your own bullets, on my barbecue grill. You just need, you can buy the bullet mold, and you need a lead ladle, something to melt the lead in.
Mm-hmm.
So once you have your bullets, you have powder. This is a powder measure, and this is the powder measure I use for the conicals. So basically, I get some powder in here. So this little thing is full of powder, and then you pour it into the cylinder. This is the way they did it in the Civil War. Oh, I have it. So then you put a conical in here like that. So I've got the powder and the bullet, and then you rotate it under this lever, and then you just push it in there with that lever. So the bullet is in there. So you have powder and bullet. But then now you need, trying to find which one is loaded here. There it is. So this is the one that's loaded, but now you need a cap, they're called. And so there's a little red cap. It's like a cap gun for adults. And you just stick it on there. And so now that has a cap, powder, and a bullet in there. And so that one is loaded. And so basically you just go around and do that for every one. I usually wait until they're all loaded before I put the cap on.
All right.
But yeah, so that's a black powder pistol. I really like them. So
yeah, and that stuff is really cool, because Now you don't have a big risk from Joe Biden coming in and taking all your guns.
But yeah, one thing about these is that they just mail them to you through the mail. I just ordered this one. Yeah, it takes about a month. The company is called Dixie Gunworks that I get them from, and it just comes straight to you. You don't have to go through, a gun store and get a background check. But no criminal would use this because it's so inefficient, and you have to really practice to get, like a lot. So I only suggest it for live out in the country where you can shoot. I have a pile of dirt I can shoot into. Yeah.
And that's fun. That's fun 'cause you practice your target practice with it.
Yeah, I don't have to go to a range or anything. I can just shoot out here, so that's nice. And there are malfunctions. They can malfunction when the cap explodes. It can get caught up, and so you have to learn all the weird, things about them.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing I want to talk about was the pellet gun. Oh, actually, so this is just a pellet, like an air rifle.
Yeah.
And I have so much fun with this. And these pellet pins are amazing. They hold 20 pellets. And this is just a break barrel, where you break it, and then you load a pellet there. And this thing is so accurate. Like at 50 yards, I can hit a tin can with it. And I kind of think that the pellet gun might be the ultimate survival rifle.
Yeah.
If you're
for a small game,
because it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to keep your soup pot full. Yeah.
Get some meat in there.
Yeah, and then I have a 1022. I don't know. You have one of those?
A 1022?
The 10. Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
A lot of people have them. This is about as tactical as I get. It's got the 25 round magazine, but it's just a 22, and it says the flashlight on it and the scope. But yeah, it's nice you can just carry 500 rounds easy.
Anyone heavy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that for self-defense, you can really be accurate with that thing. Of course, it doesn't beat an AR-15, but you have to think about the supply chain. Are you gonna be able to get ammo? I wouldn't want to go into war with that, but maybe just survive. One time, my wife and I were walking down this power line, and someone shot. It sounded like a 22, but they shot over our head, and we turned around instantly.
Hey, idiot.
We definitely. Yeah, and it was like they did it on purpose, and we just turned around, and it was we had to walk up a hill, and I felt like they were going to shoot me in the back or something. But any sort of firearm could be helpful. Better than nothing.
Yeah, of course, each individual one has their own function. You would save your AR-15 and your 30-06 for an invasion, or not like a military invasion, but the scenario that's always being played out in the prepper community is the marauders coming through, and you would save your AR-15 and your 30-06 for that, and you have the ability to hunt. Big game to small game with the other ones that you have.
Yeah, it's kind of like these two screwdrivers. They both they're tools. They have a different purpose.
Purpose, yeah, exactly. So that is a good thing. It's a good thing that you have those. And what I explain in the podcast is that when we're talking about AR-15s and everything like that, is that you have to make sure that everybody in your group has the exact same weapon. So, you can all share the same magazines, because we've seen, I don't know if you see Army documentaries and stuff like that where they actually do share their magazines, and when they're, under fire and everything like that. And and the reason that I make sure that I would comment on that is because there was this person that I had met, and we were talking, preparedness and everything like that. And that person had literally 30 different guns, but not very much ammo. So,
Uh,
he liked collecting the guns more for show, but if he ever was to need any of those guns, he wouldn't be able to use them because they're just expensive paperweights. And
yeah.
I did bring up the scenarios, like, okay, so let's say that you're in time where you have to give one of those guns to everybody. Which ones will you give them? And he showed me, and then and it's like, okay, so how much ammo do you have? And then not very much, but then I said, okay, now let's go. Let's say that this person ran out. Where did he get more bullets? And then he's like, well, he can't. So then that's where I
Yeah.
give him the tip. Really, that's much what it was, is that you have to have the same ammo, or the same gun, so everybody can share the same ammo if need be.
Yeah, with my, like, if the Chinese invade or something, I'm just gonna use my deer rifle and
Yeah.
hope that I can snag a weapon off of one of them. But I think I would just be dead really fast.
Where do you think
But
they might invade from? Like if they were trying to do a land invasion, where would they come through?
oh man, I've heard of I through Mexico. I've heard, but I don't know. Like, I think maybe they wouldn't have to invade. Well, I guess they could nuke us and then invade. After a year or something.
Yeah.
So I think that we can be conquered easily just by, I mean, all these hacking things and EMP or something. But I don't know. I have heard these conspiracy theories, like they're planning to come through the Mexican border and then the Russians will come through the Canadian.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Part of the same.
I kind of think also they could just use the California, like San Francisco Bay or something, and
The
just have a bunch
ports.
of you know um those container ships
Yeah.
probably could carry in stuff to do a lot of a lot of they could have a lot of troops on there, and so they could just come into any port in the United States probably. They wouldn't have to
Have
come.
Have you ever seen the TV show Jericho?
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes and my I was really wanting to watch all of them, but then my wife wasn't into it, and I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
would
yeah,
say. What did you say?
I watched the first few. Oh, I think I saw where there was a Chinese base. Um, yeah, these people were trying to get water from a well. It was a Chinese base. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In that TV show, they showed how um there was 22 different nuclear bombs that were pretty much carried out throughout the country in I guess you can say work vans, the vans that have the bag pretty much empty because you carry your work ladder and stuff like that, your tools, and they disperse them in 22 cities in the US, and then they detonate them. So what
Wow.
you just said, that they could bring in stuff through the ports, I can see that being a big possibility.
Totally.
And
Yeah, and I think even like
there
a
was a Russian defector, Colonel Lunov, I think I'm saying it right, where he said that they're actually working with the Chinese, that that they do plan on having weapons in here already in place, just for when they get the signal. They just go get them, and then they start, whatever it is their mission may be at that time. And but they did say that people will come in here through tourism and work visas and all the other ways, just to have enough people here to where they can start something off. And I'm really wondering, what would the U.S. military do in something like that, because we are more vulnerable than we think we are. And even though we are the
yeah,
superpower in the world, anything is possible. And it's going to have to be at a time where our enemies know we're very weak. And I really do think we're very close to that, just for the simple fact that we can have an economic collapse, or at least, very hard times economically all throughout the country. And plus, not counting what we were talking about in the previous podcast about the food supply chain and the ranchers, having to give or actually sell off their cattle because they don't have any water or the food is too expensive, and the farmers can't put anything in the ground because there's simply any water, and they're not going to waste the resources in putting the seed down in the ground if they know they can't irrigate it.
Yeah, it's starting to rain a lot here. I have a metal roof here. It's hard to hear. So yeah, I think that we're definitely vulnerable. Easily taken down, I think.
Yeah, at least they would have to.
Can you hear?
Have to make sure that they can hurt us really good, or really bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just raining. So yeah, I was having trouble hearing you. I was trying to find a better spot.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you our greenhouse here.
Nice.
Yeah. So
all right. So
definitely think we're vulnerable.
Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and finish up the podcast with what you wanted to talk last. You said you wanted to talk about, are we in the end times?
Oh yeah, we talked a little bit about that, but yeah, it seems like, I don't know if the United States is the whore of Babylon in the book of Revelations. You know how it talks about, have you read that part?
Yes.
Where, yeah, I kind of think that we might be destroyed because, I don't know, it's just like Sodom and Gomorrah out there.
Yeah. So besides the Sodom and Gomorrah comment, what else makes you think that we might be, if not Babylon, the daughter of Babylon?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a quote about the daughter of Babylon sitting on many waters. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I think, I don't know, we're spread out all over the world, and we've just been doing a lot of destruction. All these wars that we've been in, they haven't been officially declared wars. I hate that. I don't know. I just feel like we've been used, the United States.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of think we're in the end times. And with this whole Mark of the Beast up, it seems like that we are.
So do you think we might see the Antichrist sometimes?
What do you think? Yeah, I think so. I was having trouble with my internet in that room. Yeah, I think the Antichrist could show up. I think maybe, they've been talking about this alien invasion or aliens a lot. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of this?
Yeah. The Pentagon is starting to talk about it and everything.
Yeah, so maybe the Antichrist will be some sort of alien. I don't know. It's hard. Anything could happen. It's been so crazy with the pandemic that people will believe anything, I don't know.
And not question anything.
Yeah. And so I do think that maybe the Antichrist will show up. And then, I don't know. There's also this giant. Have you heard of this artificial intelligence giant sculpture? Have you heard of this thing? I think it's in Germany. Well, you can upload yourself to it, and then it will, it's a giant, but it'll look like you. I don't know. It's weird.
That's weird.
I think artificial is really building up.
What did you say it was called?
It's called the Giant Project. I think it's called the Giant Project. Someone was mentioning that.
You said in Germany?
Check it out. It's I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like it'll look like a superhero, or it can change its what it looks like. It's huge. It's like 200 feet tall or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think artificial intelligence is part of it. You know, Lucifer wants to be omnipresent like God, but can't do it naturally. So I think this technology was the smart grid and the smart appliances. Everything is going to be connected to the, artificial intelligence. So I think somehow that's playing into it as well. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. We're gonna have to wait and see how everything's gonna get crazy. You know.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I lost my Zoom meeting here. I'm sorry.
No, you're still
Can you see?
connected. We're still recording. Yeah.
Oh, good, cool. Well,
I think just your camera got turned off.
good. All right, back to meeting. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Came back with so, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think that I'm trying to get closer to God. You know, I'm trying to read my Bible more and more, because I think that, you know, it could be time to resist the mark of the beast.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, I don't know.
If you could put a timeline on it, how much longer you think we have before we see the Antichrist?
Wow. I feel like it could happen like this year, like with the stuff going on in Israel. There's something about the third temple. They need to build a third temple, but it says they'll do it in tumultuous times, which they're having now. I don't know. I definitely think within like 7 years. I think it's like right honest, based personally, but I think it'll last like maybe 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
What do you
don't
think?
know. I still think that it's for me at least. It's not clear yet that we're gonna see him anytime soon. But of course, the pandemic showed that things can get bad real fast. So, but I really do think that there has to be a lot more suffering around the world. Just for the simple fact that Jesus said that things would be really, really bad and they'll never be like that again. So, if Jesus says things are bad, how bad can things really be? And I don't
Yeah, I
see
feel like we'll have,
being that bad right now.
yeah, I think it'll be like nuclear war. And then isn't the Antichrist supposed to like bring peace? Like be like, this is the way forward towards peace, but really it's like a slavery system.
Yeah, that I mean, there's a lot of things that have been taught about the Antichrist, and one of the things that I've heard is that he's supposed to bring peace, and there's supposed to be famine in the land, so that's the reason why you have to put on the mark of the beast, because if you don't have it, then you don't get a ration or anything like that. So
Yeah, so if the pandemic is the first horse, then the red horse is next, so that'll be World War III, and then
famine.
I think the famine is next, and then just mass die off.
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, in the Bible, there's several events that happen that pretty much kills 1/3 of the entire population. Every time that one event happens. So we're approaching 8 billion people. 1/3 of that is going to be what, 2.5 billion that would die in one event.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, probably like 3 or 4 billion. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, the point is that it would be a lot of people, and if God is gonna be that mad in those days to make it happen, then we've messed up, and we better be right then.
Yeah. And then there's the for those who resist the mark of the beast, you might be killed. But I think that those people who are going to be killed are are also going to be able to come back. You know, when Jesus comes back, he has like a whole army with him.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to be in that. That's my goal. And I kind of think that you have to be murdered to be in that army for some reason.
Well, yeah, that's where a lot of people get confused, and I've I've heard both sides of that explanation where they're saying that the reason that you have to be, I guess, beheaded is because you would be left behind, and then one way to prove to God that you're not gonna, that you're worthy is that you're gonna not take the mark of the beast and pay the repercussions from it. So
Oh,
that might be
the
true,
people.
but we don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been hearing people saying like that this month is the month of the rapture. You know, have you heard that?
Yeah,
June.
in the
Yeah.
oh, this month, like June? No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. I heard it. I saw a couple of YouTube videos where people were trying to say like they they had all of this numerology and stuff saying that this is the month for the rapture, but I don't think it's going to be clear to anyone. And after listening to those, I didn't really believe them.
Yeah,
But I think, yeah, that makes sense that maybe those who are taken away will have to be prove their dedication through beheading or something. You know. I don't know.
yeah. And where I stand on that is where I believe that we don't go in a rapture. We stay here all the way to the end until Jesus comes back. Like where he comes back to destroy the earth and the entire universe and start from fresh. That's where I think it's really gonna go. Because there's a lot of holes on the other one where a lot of people are confused, and the one that makes more sense to me is that we're gonna be here all the way to the end until Jesus comes back. We're gonna go through the Antichrist and the system, and we're gonna see the meteors, the wormwood fall down, and we're gonna see all these other things, and then finally we'll see Jesus in the sky. That's where I
I hope.
stand on that. So we'll see.
I would like to be joining him for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Of my life, and get closer, or reading my Bible more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you hear the rain?
Only sometimes, but not all the time. So let's just go ahead and give us your closing remarks now that it's starting to rain really hard where you live.
Yeah, it's just this tin roof in my shop. So my closing remarks are just that if you don't have a garden, it's good to start one now. And I think cabbage, potatoes, beets, carrots, onions, things that also you can preserve like cucumbers and tomatoes. You can make tomato sauce and make pickles and preserve them. It's just stuff to eat throughout the winter, things that'll store. And it's better to start now than to wait. And also, I like the corn, beans, and squash idea, growing those. But even if you don't have land, you can do in pots. You can grow beets in a pot, or you could grow potatoes and carrots, and then you could grow some kale or spinach in a pot, and then just keep trying, basically. And yeah, I think that's it, I
Okay.
guess.
And I really want to thank you for taking this time, being with us today, and sharing your knowledge, your vast knowledge, not only on your farming, but also on your guns and everything else. I had a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, my guns aren't really typical, but I like that I can make my own ammo, kind of, for them. So
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jefferson, and everybody else listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end, for listening to all this information. It was more of a conversation that we would have with a friend rather than, just a set of questions that you would ask the president or something like that. So I really thank you for being part of this podcast, and, come back, listen to the other ones that I might be bringing out. We're reaching out to people to have interview with us, but since we're not very big yet, not a lot of people are paying attention. So we really need your help with spreading all of these podcasts in your social media. That way we can get more reach. But anyways, again, I want to thank you, Jefferson. I want to thank you at home. Everybody have a good night. And remember, my name is Jose Prado, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.